Okay, what I'm going to show you is how to enter in data into your calculator and then do a line of regression and store it into your Y1 so you can see the line of best fit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in this data. So I'm going to take data I have right here for population of a city over the course of a few years. Now I'm going to go to Stat, Edit, and I'm going to put the years in list 1 and the population in list 2. So I'm going to do that right now, 1920. 1925, 1931, 1933, and 1941. And then I'm going to put the population in list 2, so I'm going to move over to list 2, put in 4,321, 9,221, 14,821, 16,123, and 23,541. So if you already have something in your L1 and L2, that's okay. You can just enter the data right over the top of that one. You don't have to erase anything. If you have more data that was in there previously, you can just erase data by using the delete key. So in other words, if I had something, let's say in this one already, like something was just sitting around at the end of list 2, I can move up to that and just press the delete, and that'll get rid of that entry. So I have to make sure that these are the same length, otherwise I'll get an error that says dim mismatch, which means dimension mismatch. So just make sure that these are the same length and that you have the data in that you want. Alright, from here what I want to do is I want to plot those points on a graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to stat plot, so second y equals, and I'm going to hit enter on this one, and I want to turn that stat plot on. And the type I want is dots, and I have to make sure I've got L1 and L2. So if I would have put them in a different list, I could put L1 and L3, or whatever list I had them in, but I want L1 and L2 in this case, and so I want to graph those. Now you'll notice nothing showed up in my graph. Well, that's because my data, all the x values are between 1,920 and 1,941. So what I can do on my calculator, I'm going to go to Zoom, and I can go to Zoom 9, which is Zoom Stat, and it'll automatically zoom the graph to wherever I have my data. And so there I've got the plot of the data. Now we can see that this data approximates a line. So what I want to do now is I want to be able to calculate that line of best fit that would approximate this data. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate, and I want to do a line of regression. Now, in order to be able to put this directly into Y1, I have to do a couple of things with this line of regression. So the first thing I have to do is I have to tell this function which lists I want to calculate the line of regression on. So I want to do it on list 1 and list 2. So I go second 1, which is list 1, and then comma, which is right above the 7, and then second list 2, and now I have to tell it where I want it to store it. So I want to put it into Y1, so I do a comma, and then click vars, which stands for variables, and I want to put it in my yvars, so I'm going to move over to that. I want it as a function, and I want it as my y1. So now when I hit enter, what this is going to do is it's going to calculate my line of regression and then put it directly into my y1. So I hit enter, gives me my slope and my y-intercept, and it automatically put that into y1. So if I go to y equals, I notice that it's already there. So now if I graph it, I can see my line of best fit that approximates that data. So now you'll be asked questions in your homework like, well, what do you suppose that use your line of best fit to approximate the population in, we'll say, 1935? Well, what I can do is I can use this line of best fit and I can click my trace, and notice right here, this will tell me what I'm tracing. And right now it says I'm tracing plot 1. Well, I don't want to trace plot 1, I want to trace my line. So if I go down, if I press the down arrow, now it says Y1, and that's what I want to trace. And what I can do if I'm tracing is I can type in an x value of 1935, and and I just start typing 1935 and click enter, and it gives me the approximate y value. So that y value would be approximately 1,000 or 18,152. So that's how I can look at data there. But now let's say I wanted to look at data and I wanted to trace out to 1950. Well, if I try 1950, if I just try typing that in and I hit enter, it says invalid. Well, what I need to do is I need to change my window because 1950 isn't on my window right now. So if I just go to my window and change the X maximum to, we'll say 1951, and I graph that, now 1950 will be in my window and I can trace it. So I go to trace, and again I don't want to trace plot 1, so I press down to go to my y equals, and I type in 1950, and now I will have my value. So my line of best fit predicts that the population in 1950 will be 31,795 people.